staan hier bij Trinity College en we gaan even kijken of de Europese verkiezingen ook onder de jongeren leven.
I mean, I think they're important for Ireland, especially, and it's such a dependent country on the European Union. So.
Do you care to vote yourself? Do you care to vote yourself?
Oh yeah.
You're gonna vote?
Which party?
I don't know yet.
We don't know. Did you do some research already? Or?
Not too much research yet, but I intend to in the next few weeks. So, I'm just not entirely decided yet.
Okay, and are you thinking about something?
This way. Yeah, looking at the opposition parties mainly.
Okay.
Because of what's happened in this country in the past.
What's happened in this country?
The economy has collapsed.
Do you think the opposite parties?
I don't know if it'll be any better, but change.
Thank you very much.
Thanks guys, have a nice day.
Good luck. Thank you about the European election.
And how do you mean? Like what type of stuff?
Do you think it's important? Are you going to vote?
I am going to vote. I do think it's important. I think it's really important the way we look at ourselves in Europe and what our influence in Europe is, because like Ireland's a very small country, 4 million people. The voting population in the EU for the Euro elections is 500 million people. It's one of the largest blocks, bar China and India, when you put it that way. So we have a tiny voice, and as a country, we're dependent on our global partners. Like we're a trade-oriented country with no real domestic industry at all. So we have to realise, like, the Irish population. I don't know if, well, in my opinion, I don't know if the rest of the country sees it, but I think that it's very important to realise that we need to play off Europe and America and all the other global partners. China is now becoming a big trader with us, and if we align ourselves with the European Union completely the way we're going at the moment, it might necessarily be a good thing for us, because currently Ireland, although it's not necessarily true, we're in the top 3 GDP per capita in Europe. The other ones are Luxembourg and I think Denmark. And the reason there is, well, Denmark isn't in the Euro as far as I remember, and Luxembourg is a trading hub. I'm in fund management, by the way, so that's why I know all this.
Okay.
And when you think about it that way, we have to realise how we look at ourselves. If we're going to play in the European game the way everybody else is playing in the European game, we're going to lose that advantage of being able to play off major trading partners against each other, and therefore is it necessarily like good for us to vote in Europe and like really become very involved in it the way, let's say, Germany, France, Italy are? I'd be a bit worried about it. So I vote Conservative when I vote Europe.
And why? Yeah, which party are you going to vote?
I'm going to vote Fine Gael. They're not necessarily that conservative, but they're a good conservative party for us. Like they're liberal conservative, which is really kind of just saying they're right in the middle, but they are just kind of right in the middle. But they're kind of aware of the necessity that we have to maintain our individual stance.